Have you forgot about the Columbia Classics Volume 4 set and wondering what the heck happened to it? Well, let's talk about it. In today's physical media news topic, we talk about what titles are going to be included in the Columbia Classics Volume 4 set. Also talk about which ones I would personally love to see in there. And then ultimately, we talk about when and if this set will come out. And of course, will I be picking it up? First, to talk about what titles I think Columbia themselves would select to throw in this box set. And so, what I did with this research here is I wanted to look at titles they would include based on prestige, based on a variety of decades, a variety of genres, and just based on titles they think would be popular enough to actually sell this box set, and also titles that would be first time to 4K, because they really want to encourage collectors to pick up on Volume 4, because I don't think Volume 3 was well loved. There's some obscure titles in there, just not really big hot selling titles. So we got to change it with Volume 4, right? So let's go from most classic decade up to most modern. So first we're going to have a title from the 50s here. Now this one I'm the least confident about, and it's completely a shot in the dark, but they might include the Texas Rangers, which is a classic Western. I mean, you got to have, a Western here, right? It's just so popular during those decades, but I thought the premises sound kind of cool. Did I just say premises? No, the premise of this movie, where you basically got outlaws in Texas causing all sorts of havoc, but then you got these Texas Rangers that come in and they actually kind of band together with some convicts to make this a unlikely team to go against this outlaws. I think that kind of sounds cool, so I would definitely give it a whirl, but you need a title from the 50s in here, right? That's why I'm mostly including it. All right, next up, I'm a title I'm much more confident in that they gotta include, right? Is Kramer versus Kramer, a prestigious film, won Best Picture, total powerhouse actors in here of Dustin Hoffman and Meryl Streep, and it was based on a real court case of a divorce people were going through, how that impacted the parenting and the young son. So it was just a fascinating story when I watched it, very emotional. Definitely think it could be a selling point there for them. All right, next up, we got to go to the 80s with Tootsie, right? Tootsie is so popularly requested. I've never seen the movie myself, but because so many people talk about it, I definitely do. And to get it to that 4K format would be awesome. But it's basically a satirical romantic comedy of sorts. You also got Dustin Hoffman in here. So yeah, very curious to check this one out. I'm guessing it has some raunchiness to it as well. Yeah, just want to see this one because I've heard such wonderful things. All right, next up, we're going to go into the 90s. We've got to get a little bit more action-packed here. At least I think it's action-packed. Never seen this one either. But we got Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, a Guy Ritchie directed film. I've heard great things about this one from friends. It's Guy Ritchie's first main title out there. It has all this plot twist in it, from what I understand. It's about, poker and card sharks and things happening and just sorts of shenanigans in there. You know, a Guy Ritchie typical film. So I definitely want to see that one. To get it onto the 4K format in this set would be a pretty awesome seller, in my opinion. All right, next up, we got to go even a little bit more modern now, getting into the 2000s, but still want to keep a little bit more prestige, a little bit drama. We're going to go Aaron Brockovich. Yes, I've heard so many great things about this film, never seen it. I believe it's Julia Roberts in the main role here, if I'm correct. But it's basically about a real court case again against, PG&E with a water contamination case of sorts. Sounds very interesting. I do like true life stories, and there's a lot of those movies coming out now, so I think this would be a big selling point as well. And I don't think this one's been on 4K, but correct me if I'm wrong. And then next up, to kind of round out the bunch here in this set, we gotta have Moneyball. Yes, a more modern title, but we've seen sports films before in Columbia Classics with a Jerry Maguire. It'd be very similar here, but you got awesome performances by Brad Pitt and Jonah Hill, and of course a great supporting cast as well. But I just think it's an awesome story. I have seen this one. I did enjoy it, learning about the science behind drafting certain baseball players and how they really changed the game with, hey, who gets on base more times? I mean, I'll never forget that line. But really an awesome, fascinating movie, and I think that'd be a good modern selling point to really include in there. I think this would be a really well-rounded set that Columbia would definitely choose. But we got to talk about what would be the titles I would actually want if I was getting to choose every single one. Now to get into my choices, because I'm going to choose stuff that I am very interested in just based off the premise, or stuff I've seen before that I know I would get my rewatches of. And of course, I want these all to really nice 4K releases in this box set. So that was my criteria, all opinion based. I know yours would be totally different. So how about you put those in the comment below on your choices? But first up, let's go with a classic one. Let's get into the 50s and go with 1984. Now, I've actually never seen this film. I know the book was really popular and a lot of people read it in school, but I like the premise of it being about a dystopian future. That stuff has always fascinated me. And I think I'd like it more than the Texas Rangers just because the Westerns are really my least favorite genre out there. So I'd go 1984 over that one. All right, next up, getting into the 60s here, we go with Casino Royale. Yes, the original Casino Royale. I do love the new modern one with Daniel Craig. That one's great, but I want to see kind of where it came from, the origins of James Bond, and when that character was first mentioned and all of that. I gotta check out that classic Casino Royale. I love 007 films. I rewatch those all the time. So let's go back. Let's reminisce. Let's check out Casino Royale. I just think it could be really, really cool. And it's like a spy parody film of sorts, I guess. I think it just can be a fun time. All right, next up, let's go into the 80s. And we got to have a little bit of a romantic comedy in here, right? I'm a sucker for those kind of movies. So we got to have When Harry Met Sally. Now, of course, I've seen this one before. I really liked it. I mean, it's such a sweet, charming romantic comedy, a lot of laugh out loud moments. It's a well known title. And I just really enjoyed it. I'm probably gonna rewatch it multiple times. Definitely around maybe Valentine's Day or whatnot. So yeah, would love to see that movie in the set. All right, next up we go to the 90s. I'm a 90s child, so gotta have a 90s film in here. But I haven't seen this one yet. Always been curious about it. Let's go with Multiplicity. Yes, starring Michael Keaton. I mean, Michael Keaton's great in everything I've seen him in. Batman, Mr. Mom, you name it, he's awesome. But the trailer for this movie looked so funny. When I was putting together my Michael Keaton stream, I was just laughing so hard at the trailer. Hey, no one sleeps with my wife but me. Talking to all his clones, right? There's all these Michael Keaton clones because he's getting overburdened with certain things. And so he has these clones that help him with other tasks around the house and whatnot. So it looks so funny. It looks like a very funny premise. Want to check it out. Let's get a really nice 4K release of this one. Put it in the box set. All right, now getting into even more modern films with the 2000s here. We gotta have A Knight's Tale. I love A Knight's Tale, starring Heath Ledger, but a great supporting cast all around. I just love the Renaissance period looking time with all the jousting. It's so thrilling, but it's a movie that knows how to have fun because it has the rock and roll music to go along with the jousting, which you think would be out of place, but it just pumps you up and works really well for this movie, makes it more unique and very entertaining. We'll definitely rewatch this one a whole bunch of times. Let's get it in Ultra HD, right? All right, next up, my final one here in my personal choice set. We gotta go with even a more modern one. Let's go Django Unchained. Yes, I know it just said Westerns aren't my go-to genre, but Django Unchained, I just really love this one. It might be my favorite Quentin Tarantino film. It was just so thrilling. There was twist in there. The acting was fantastic. You had Leonardo DiCaprio, Samuel L. Jackson, and so many more. Of course, it's bloody, gory action from Quentin Tarantino, but the dialogue, the writing was so tight in that movie, and it just kept you on your toes till the very end. So it's a perfect Quentin Tarantino film, in my opinion. I want it on 4K. We need more Tarantino on 4K anyway. I don't think this one has been announced for Ultra HD yet. Why not put it in a Columbia Classics Volume 4 set? But there we go. Those are my choices. Now to talk about when I think this box set will actually come out and if I will be picking it up. Well, I think it's gonna maybe come out, maybe, if we're lucky, during the holiday season. I know they usually come out during around the October time, but October is sneaking up on us. We haven't heard any announcements of a Volume 4 set, so I don't think October is gonna happen. I don't think the fall is gonna happen. But what about the winter holiday seasons, December, January, February, March? Maybe to align with kind of those Oscar and award show times. I think that could happen, especially if they throw a prestigious title in there like Kramer versus Kramer as a selling point. So I think that could be a really good sweet spot if it's coming out, this upcoming year here. If it doesn't come out during that winter season, though, next likely is probably the following fall season in October again. But if it doesn't come out then I don't think it's going to happen. So is this one actually going to happen? Is it not? I think it's a 50-50 chance right now. I think their first two Columbia Classic sets sold pretty well. I think the third one wasn't as hyped as much, but I think it's because of the titles they chose. I think with these titles that the studio most likely will go with, I think there's enough selling points in here to really get collectors excited again about the Columbia Classics volume sets. And I think they really could do a good job on this one because the box sets look so nice. They include the nice book in it. They have the slip covers on the movies. I love how it opens up. It's a nice protective case box set. It just looks so clean on the shelf. I think they could sell it. I think it could work. So I'm hoping it comes out. 50-50 chance if it does come out. Of course, I have the other Columbia Classic sets. Of course, I'd pick up Volume 4, especially if they do these heavy hitter titles. Now, would I pick it up day one? That's the only question, because I've been burnt before paying full price on this one, and then Volume 3 got discounted so much. And I think they would have enough stock and quantity of this one, so I would maybe wait for a discount. Unless they're just titles they went with my choices, oh, then I can't resist. I would pick it up. But with the choices I think they're most likely to go with, probably wait for a discount. And let me know in the comments below, once again, what are your choices for a Columbia Classics Volume 4 set? And do you think this set is actually going to happen? Let's have those fun movie conversations down below. And if you love collecting physical media just like me and being part of this amazing league of mega film fans, make sure you subscribe right now. That way you stay entertained and up to date on all the latest physical media topics.
You had my curiosity, but now you have my attention.
And if you enjoy these physical media topics, check out another one right now. And thank you so much, my mega membership supporters.